Well then, I'm gonna actually just readjust this, make sure it's tilted upward enough. Okay, right. So, this should be live. Welcome to another episode of Byte at the Movies. The first one of the new semester of Ball State schooling. I am your host, Tanner Kinney, and with me today, I have some lovely new faces and one sort of lovely old face. So why don't we introduce ourselves going this way?
I'm Sydney Norman.
Hey, I'm Emily Reuben.
And I'm Evan Fischer.
Yeah, and yeah, it's great. We just got out of seeing Halloween 2018. The remake, reboot, soft C-boot of Halloween from 1978.
It would be 40 years ago.
Yeah, 40 years. Big in the marketing. Yeah, let's just get into it. Let's start with horror film buff Emily Reuben.
I loved it. Everything about, if you've seen the original, you're going to love it. There's so many references and throwbacks, and they even poke fun at, like, the fact that the war gets insane as the movies go on, and it's basically just like, pretend that didn't happen. And this movie is so self-aware, but it's its own story, and I think it flows really well as its own entity. Like, you should see the first one, but I think you could go into this one without seeing it, maybe. Yeah, it's my favorite Halloween movie now.
Yeah, well, I mean, how many are there? Let's clear up for the audience who might not. How many Halloween movies are there?
6, I think.
Well, then
this
there's
makes
H2O,
7.
and then there's Resurrection.
Yeah. So that's 7.
So off the top of my head, is it 7?
And then 8, including
Yeah,
this one?
And then the Rob Zombies.
Oh, that's even more.
Okay, so do we count those? I was gonna ask that because it's important to note that the first one and this one are the only two in, like, the universe of the rest of them.
They're the only canonical ones?
Yeah,
because I'm pretty sure they're the only two good ones.
Hey, H2O.
H2O was actually pretty good. But if you looked at this and you were like, okay, Halloween 20, Halloween 40, it makes absolutely no sense. Because in H2O, she has a son.
Yeah, and I think they brought in, like, the weirdest, like signs, like the astrology signs. It got weird.
All right. Well, since you're so talkative there, Sydney, why don't you give us your thoughts on this film?
I liked it.
You want to elaborate? What did you like about it?
I thought it was fun. I think that it was like Laurie Strode. I would kiss her on the mouth if I could. She is an icon, a queen.
A scream queen.
A scream queen, literally, yeah. I don't know. She's... Love her. We stan. Everything she stands for, everything she lived through, everything she went through, we love her for it.
Yeah, and Jamie Lee Curtis does a fantastic job in this movie. She does phenomenally. And a lot of her scenes, she doesn't have that many lines, but she just, like, has this presence where she's almost as threatening as Michael Myers.
The eyes, the look in her eyes, yeah.
Like, and not to spoil anything, but the movie kind of plays on that.
Yep.
During the final sequence.
A lot of imagery going on.
There's so much imagery. It's kind of incredible. But let's move on to Evan. What did you think of Halloween?
I thought it was hilarious. I don't know how much of it was intentionally hilarious. A lot of the jokes were meant to be jokes, but a lot of it was me just thinking it was funny because I like it when people stab people.
Oh, I felt so bad.
I think part of me, I think his boots stole the show. Every step he took in those boots made me, like, not scared, but I thought they were going to be funny if he ever kicked someone. Which, not to spoil it, no, it's fun. I like his boots. That's the point.
Michael Myers has good boots.
He has good dang boots, and he's a big man, and it made me laugh.
He is a beef man.
And when half of his character traits are walking, I think it worked.
Walking, staring, stabbing, staring.
The staring was always funny.
Hey, he punched a guy.
He did it.
There was a lot of murder in this film. I tried to keep track of the kill count just because I thought it would be something funny to put on the show, but I lost track.
They surpassed the originals pretty quickly.
Yeah, it was really fast too. Like as soon as he started killing, it was just like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the Rob Zombie ones do, though. That's how they are. Like, it's just a lot of... But Rob Zombie, big fan of murder.
So is Michael Myers.
Rob Zombie is Michael Myers?
Confirmed.
Confirmed?
Oh, no.
On the stream?
We turned it into a conspiracy theory video.
All right. I guess moving on to my thoughts. Yeah, it was great. It was a really big, fun slasher movie. For the first, like, I'll call it the murder sequence where Michael Myers just roaming around town. That, I think, was fantastic in how goofy it was. Like, it was ridiculous how cheesy it was. And, I mean, that's fine. I like a little bit of cheese. But the final sequence of the film is genuinely fantastic. And like, in terms of, like, cinematography, musically, the whole film is fantastic. But that's expected from Mr. John Carpenter, who was one of the composers for this film. Love him, bless him. And Michael Myers is a really he stomps someone's head in like a birthday cake.
I loved it.
It's beautiful.
He's brutal in this one.
He is so brutal. There are so many gory, brutal deaths. It's
He's a
incredible.
machine.
His ability to just pick people up in a win always makes me giggle.
And he's like 70, isn't he?
Yeah,
like,
he's an old boy.
Love that.
Yeah.
I hope I'm like Michael Myers. Like, I hope-
Don't we all? Don't we all? All right. So then, would you recommend and final thoughts? Let's just start with Sydney.
Would I recommend?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Final thoughts. Danny McBride's name is on this movie.
Yeah.
Did not see that one coming.
Yeah. Doesn't he work with Blumhouse?
I'm not sure. I know he was in. He's like a funny dude. Like, he's a comedian guy. So I wasn't like expecting like genuine good horror from like anything that had Danny McBride's name on it.
I mean, it was also a comedy film.
Well, yeah, but he's like an only like my brain was like, oh, Danny McBride, this is gonna be.
I thought that was an odd name to see because I did recognize. I was like, does he work with Blumhouse? I thought he did, but
It had like a mediocre amount of camp in it, and I kind of loved that.
Yeah.
Campy movies are always best.
absolutely,
well.
absolutely. All right, Emily Reuben.
Absolutely. You need to see this. If you've seen the original, you're going to absolutely love this. It's really well made. Cinematography is on point. The music, even the new music, is spectacular, and it incorporates the old music really well. You're going to see so many references that'll make you laugh. I love it so much. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Evan.
I would recommend it. I personally don't know if I'm going to remember it in a couple months. But that's just me. I had a lot of fun, and they made teenage characters that I didn't immediately hate. And that's a good...
Yeah. That's true.
Except for Pudgy Neckbeard.
Oh, you mean Nice Guy?
Yeah,
Nice guy.
Fedora tip.
Yeah, he was...
Tip your fedoras in honor of Nice Guy.
But yeah, I had fun.
Yeah, my final thoughts, definitely recommend it. Definitely a great movie to see. If you love slasher films, this is a very good one. And I mean, if you're looking for like thrills and true horror, this isn't it. You're not coming to Halloween to like legitimately get scared. You're coming to see people get stomped like birthday cake. That's what you're coming to see Halloween for, and it delivers. So yeah, it's definitely recommend. Lights have turned off. Well, that's the end. All right. Well, yep. Play the music. All right. So before we get murdered, I'll just end the show. This has been Byte at the Movies. I'm Tanner Kinney, and yeah, I'll just do this and turn it off then.